The first thing we're going to talk about today is how to 10x your law firm in 5 simple moves, right? And basically, what I'm going to show you is something. This is a system that, if you do this, it will absolutely change your life. So I want you to pay really good attention to this, and I want you to really figure out how to really figure out how you can implement this. Because if you do this, even if you do part of this, it will be absolutely life changing. So let's talk about how to 10x your law firm in 5 simple moves. Now, the first step to 10xing a law firm, the first move you need to make is you need to install a follow-up system for your firm. Now, here's a statistic that most people don't realize. That number is 3%. Now, I want to tell you a story about this 3%. When I was in college, I had a business where I helped people transfer their VHS tapes to DVD. And when I was in college, and basically what I did is I went to Walmart and I bought a VHS. It was a VHS tape, a VHS recorder, and it had a DVD drive on it also. And basically all you did is you hit play on the VHS tape, you hit record, and it would actually record the VHS tape to DVD. And I decided, being the entrepreneurial type person that I am, I decided that I can make a lot of money doing this. So what I did is I went and I got these blank yard signs, the big yard signs that you see people writing like Bill buys ugly houses and stuff. And I wrote VHS to DVD, and then I put my phone number down, and then I put these signs all over. I put them all over like busy intersections. And what happened was, at about 5 o'clock, when it started getting busy, people started seeing the signs and they started calling me. And they'd call me and be like, "Oh, wow, I've got a whole box of VHS tapes up in my attic. They're just collecting dust. I definitely need to get them on digital. I'm going to go home. I'm going to count them up, and I'm going to call you back." Right. And this happened over and over and over again. Every single time I put a sign out, I would get 20, 30, 40 calls. It was insane. Right. I would get all these calls, and everybody was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to go home, and I'm going to count how many VHS tapes I have, and I'm going to call you back." Right. So I was in college, and I'm sitting here counting all the money in my head because I charged $10 a tape. I was like, "Oh, this guy has 40 tapes. This guy has 50 tapes. This guy's got 10 tapes. I'm going to make so much money doing this." Right. So then what would happen is they would never call me back. For some reason, they were so excited, and then they would just never call me back. Right. So this happened 3 weeks in a row. And I was so frustrated because after the third week, I was like, not only am I wasting money, but I'm also wasting my time, because I'm actually going out, I'm dealing with all these phone calls, I'm doing all this stuff. And for some reason, I still to this day do not know why I did this, but whenever someone called, I actually marked down their name, their phone number, and some information about them, just jotted down some notes in an Excel sheet, right? So like 3 weeks later, I was pretty angry. I was like, this is ridiculous. Why are people not hiring me? So I went back to the first people that had called me like 3 weeks ago, and I picked up the phone and I called the first guy. And I was like, "Hey, we talked a couple weeks ago. You said you were going to call me back. What happened?" And he's like, "Oh my God, I've been looking for your number. I got home, I counted them, I couldn't find your number again. And then I went back and the sign was gone. So I couldn't call you back." Right. So then I met with him that night, and he gave me like 20 or 30 tapes. Right. And I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. So I called the next guy, and then I called the next guy, and I called the next guy. And I ended up making $5,000 that weekend, just because what I did is I followed up. Now, this is where 3% comes in. Only 3% of any given market is actually ready to buy, right? So what's happening is that when you're doing all that, most people, basically, you're trying to get someone to buy on the first touch. So you're essentially competing over this 3%, and you're ignoring the remaining 97% of people who are good clients. They will be good potential clients, but they're not yet ready to buy. Only 3% of any given market is actually ready to buy. Now, here's another number that you're going to find very, very interesting. And I think you're probably going to find this a little shocking. Forrester did a survey, and they found that 56% of people, more than half of the people who hire a law firm, did so after the fifth touch with the brand, right? The fifth touch, 56% of people. So what that means is that if somebody comes to your website just one time and then they leave and they never hear from you again, they're good. There's a good chance they're not going to buy, right? So if you can set up a follow-up system that actually follows up with people when they call you, when they come to your website, when they see you on social media, then you are just by default going to attract so many more people. So for example, who here, let me know, who here has ever gotten an email from a potential new lead or a phone call from a potential new lead that you missed and it went to voicemail, or you got a contact form submission on your website and you tried to contact them and then you were never able to get them on the phone. Let me know, unmute yourself and let me know. Has that ever happened to you?
Yes. Yes.
All right. So I know it's happened to 2 people because I just heard them, but I'm sure it's happened a lot. It's only happened to 2 people. No one else. It's never happened to anyone else. All right. So I think you're just shy. I think it has happened to a lot of people because I know it happens to our clients all the time. So what's interesting is that one of the easiest ways to put in a follow-up system is to actually have people call people more than once, right? So let me give you an example. We did a Facebook campaign for 2 criminal defense attorneys, right? One was in New Jersey. The other one was in St. Petersburg, Florida, right? And basically, for both campaigns, it was the same campaign. We used the same ads. We used the same everybody. Hey, if you're unmuted, can you please mute yourself?
Hey, Andy, you might have to unmute yourself there. Sorry.
Did you mute me, Chase?
Yeah, on accident. Sorry about that.
That's all right. What's the last thing you heard me say?
You started talking about the Facebook deal and none of us could hear it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. So what I was going to say is we have a client. So we did 2 campaigns for, we had 2 criminal defense attorneys. We did a Facebook campaign for each of them, and we generated 300 leads for each campaign. It was the same practice area. We pretty much ran the same ads. It was essentially the same thing, right? They each generated about 300 leads. However, one of the attorneys signed up 75 cases. The other attorney signed up 0 cases. Now, who here would be happy with 75 cases out of 300 leads? Let me know if you'd be happy with 75 cases.
I would.
I
would.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Lots of people would be happy with 75 cases, right? How many people would be very upset if you got 300 leads and you got 0 cases? Would you be upset about that?
Very upset.
All right. You want to know the difference between these 2? Why one got 75 and one got 0?
Yes.
All right. So the reason why I called this guy. I called this guy who got 0 cases, and I was like, so let's talk about the campaign. What was the problem? What happened? And he said, well, the problem was I called everybody and I just couldn't get them on the phone. Right. So I said, how many times did you call? And he said, I called once, maybe twice. And we all know that that means he called 1 time. Right. So then I called this guy, and this is an attorney. His name's Kevin Hazlett. And I asked him, how did you do this? How did you, did you have a problem getting these people on the phone? Because we ran a similar campaign for another attorney and he had a problem getting on the phone. And he said, yeah, they don't answer the first time. But he told me that he has a system that he calls 3 ways, 3 times. And I was like, well, what is 3 ways, 3 times? So what he does every single time, and he has someone dedicated in his office to doing this, and I'm going to show you why in a minute. But what he does every single time he gets a lead that they don't actually talk to, that lead gets a text, they get a call, and then they get an email. Right? And they try to get them a hold of them that way. And if they don't respond to any of those, they get another text, and they get another call, and they get another email. And if they don't respond to those, they get another text and another call and another email. So the difference between 75 cases, and I'm not sure what his retainer is. I think it's anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. Let's say it's $3,000. $3,000 times 75 cases is what, 200 something thousand dollars? I'm not great at math. But do you think it's worth it to maybe figure out how to do this for 75 cases? Because you got to remember, there's so many times when people aren't going to actually pick up the phone once they've contacted you. Because first of all, they don't know who it is. They get spam numbers all the time. And there's a lot of times when they just can't pick up the phone. So you've got to follow up over and over and over again. So that is one way that you can actually set up a follow-up system. And he actually had this. He actually has a person dedicated to actually doing this. And this is all generated from his videos, by the way. So the other thing is, have you ever been on a website like Wayfair or Amazon or anywhere, and uh, and basically you're looking at maybe you're looking like a couch, like you're looking at a couch, and then all of a sudden, everywhere you go, that couch is everywhere. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever? Let me know if that's ever happened to anyone.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the reason that Amazon and Wayfair and all these big companies do that is not because they want to annoy you or they like wasting money. They know this 3% number. They know that most of the people that are on their website are not going to buy, but they also know that it's worth following up with people that that go to their website, because a large percentage of them will eventually buy. So if you set up a system where basically you're creating videos that are handling objections and talking about the things that they found on your website, and then you're showing those videos to people on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, then what you're doing is you're getting these 5 touch points. But not only that, you're getting yourself in front of these people who have these problems, and you're helping them solve problems. So you're providing them with value. So that's another great way for you to provide value. Another thing you can do is with your social media posts. So another way that you can follow up is when people actually watch your videos on social media. Now, one of the biggest problems that people have with social media advertising, and really just advertising as a whole, is that here's your entire market, right? So if this circle represents the entire market, the percentage of people that actually need your services might be like a sliver, right? But the problem is, a lot of times you have to run ads to this entire market, right? So what you can do is you can actually use follow-up, and in combination with 2-minute short videos like I'm about to show you later today, and you can actually set up a follow-up system that identifies this section right here while eliminating everyone else. And it's actually really cool. Basically what you do is you take a video and you run it on Facebook or Instagram. And this video should basically solve a problem and address a problem, solve a problem that only this audience cares about, right? So what's going to happen is these guys are going to watch the video, and this entire audience is going to ignore it, right? So then what you're going to do is you're going to use Facebook, and you're going to pay attention to who watches 25% of this video. Now, the reason that we do that is because on social media, 25% of even 2 minutes is 30 seconds. That's an absolute eternity, right? Nobody is watching a video that's about a very specific problem if they're not, part of that audience, right? So what you do is this actually allows you to get people who are your ideal clients to raise their hand, right? So then what you do is you tell Facebook, pay attention to the people that watch 25% of this video, and then I want you to show them another video. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pay attention to people that watch 25% of this video as well. And then we're going to create another video, and we're going to show them that video. And this is a great way to basically narrow down your audience, because think about, to get to this video right here, they will have had to have watched 25% of this video, which is on a very specific topic that only your ideal clients care about, and 25% of this video, which is on a very specific topic and a very specific problem that only your ideal clients care about. And then what you can do is you can just keep showing people these videos, and you keep doing this. And the cool part is that you film the video one time, you set the system up one time, and it works, and it follows up for you automatically on autopilot. It's the coolest thing ever. Does anyone here feel like I'm everywhere? Let me know, like, who sees my ads and everything? Do you guys feel like you see me everywhere? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay. This is exactly why, because I've got these automated systems where I run an ad, I help people solve a small problem. You raised your hand by watching it, and now I'm going to market to you for the rest of either of our lives, basically. Right? So step number 1 is going to be to put in this follow-up system, right? So in the workbook, there's actually some numbers here, right? And I want to show you. Now you can fill in with your numbers for your law firm. I've got a sample law firm I'm going to use here, but feel free to use your numbers here. So for an example, let's say your firm starts off with 25 leads per month, and your closing percentage is 20%. And so that means that if you get 25 clients and you get 20% closing, you get 5 new clients per month. And let's say your average retainer is $3,000. So that means that you're making $15,000 per month. Okay. So if you install a follow-up system for your law firm, what is going to happen is you are going to automatically increase your leads by probably about 60% without even generating more traffic, right? So just by making move number one, you're going to go from 25 leads to 38 leads per month. And if you want to work these numbers on your own, you can definitely do that as well for your law firm, or you can just follow along with what I'm doing. And you're going to end up, if you get 38 leads per month, you're still closing 20%. So that's going to end up with 8 new clients, and 8 new clients at $3,000 a piece. You're now at $24,000 a month. All right. So, but that's just step one. Just by adding that follow-up system, you're going to take your law firm to $24,000 per month if you're using these scenarios. So move number one, as I said, is insert a follow-up system. Now, I want you guys to repeat after me because that's how you're going to remember it. What is move number one? Move number one is
A follow-up system.
Follow-up system. All right. You are paying attention. Great.